Curtis, do you have somewhere where you're going to be staying for the high holidays?
Probably in Shreveport somewhere. So I'll probably be at the Hampton Inn. I think you recommended it to me last time. So
Yeah. And I don't know, I know the prices change there for, I'm not sure what prices are right now.
yeah, I was going to look into it anyway, but I'm pretty sure that's where I'll stay. I'll probably walk as well.
And the weather's been so much nicer.
Oh yeah, yeah. It had been hot and just rainy, but starting to cool off a little bit.
Remind me what, I'm never going to remember the city that you're in or the town that you're in.
Nowhere, Louisiana. If you can remember nowhere, you're good to go. But I live in Waterproof. It's really, really small, really, really rural.
In
I'm
water what?
about Waterproof.
Waterproof?
Yeah, it's a town right next to the Mississippi River in Louisiana. So I literally can cross the river and be in Mississippi.
Holy cow, so you are insanely far.
Yes, I'm insanely far.
What,
Otherwise, you would have seen me many times.
what, a 3.5 hour drive from here?
It's about a 3 hour drive.
Drive.
I'm about an hour and 15 minutes from Monroe.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and
not
it's
crazy.
like what maybe an hour or so from Monroe to Shreveport. It's not that far, is it?
Like an hour and a half, something like that.
Yes, yes. It's been a while since I've been out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do some Hebrew. And this is fun. We can do the same thing that I did last time because we've got totally different people than last time. But let's start out with some flashcards. Oh, never mind. Dr. Strain's going to be joining us again, but he can do the same class again. All right. Today we're going to be focusing on single syllable words, but in order to do that, we are going to need to remember some letters and vowels. So we're just going to warm up with some flashcards as we have been doing them. We'll do flashcards until every time we do flashcards, everybody gets every answer right. All right. So Curtis, would you like to, can you see the screen?
I sure can.
All right.
And that is a Gimel.
Fantastic. All right. Eddie, what letter is this?
That is sin.
It is a sin. Kayla, are you just observing or are you participating today?
I'm participating.
Great. It's just camera can only go so far. All right. Kayla, how would you say this vowel? Or the letter with the vowel?
E.
Ah, very close. Very, very close. So when you've got the three dots and anybody can answer
Eh.
eh. Nice.
Oh.
So that's a
Okay.
segel. And when you've got that, oops, when you've got the three dots here, it makes an sound like egg, leg, pet, thing, anything like that. Makes the sound. All right. All right. Doctor, oop. It was going to give you the hard one, Dr. Strain. Dr. Strain, how would you say this? And you're muted.
Would I say it like a R or
Very close. You
a?
might say it. So ah would be this is a trick one
This is
because
the R right here, and I thought the two dots made it silent. Right?
so when you have this was kind of our bonus last time. When you have the two dots here next to another vowel, when you have the shva next to another vowel, most of the time, or it would be 2/3 of the time, you would just ignore those two dots.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's with a kamatz, which is that little T sound, it actually makes an O sound. It is a weird exception. You don't see it very often, but this is what we would call a chataf kamatz, and it would make an O sound like over.
Okay. Makes a O sound. Okay.
Mhm. Is there a way to? Well, I'm gonna start this one. I'm gonna start the one before as well. There we go. All right. How about Curtis? What letter is this?
Uh, I forgot.
Okay.
Is it a cough? Cough?
It's okay. So it's what was the first one you said?
A cough?
Right, very close. It is a chaf.
Yeah, cough.
And because what would Curtis? What would make it a cough?
The dot in the middle.
Exactly right. The cough drop. Or like one of my 7-year-olds said this week, it has a kitty cat nose if it's a cough. All right, so chaf. All right. Eddie, what is this one? Is it, do you need me to zoom in?
I see. Would it be? I have it on the tip of my tongue. I can't say it. I want to say cough, or with like the Q.
So you are so close. It's not cough, but it does make that sound. Anyone else want to share what the answer is?
Coof.
Coof. There we go.
Proof.
Coof. But you got the most important step. You know what sound it makes. All right, Kayla, what is this?
Want a hint?
Sure.
That makes the L sound. Ooh.
I'm not sure.
It's got a long neck like a llama. I don't know if that helps at all. All right, anybody want to share it?
Lamed.
Lamed.
Okay.
A long neck like a llama. All right. All right, and Dr. Strain, what is this one?
It looks like it's the hat.
Yeah.
H-E-T, hat.
Het.
Het.
Het. Makes the sound.
I had to
Fun-
see if there was a space in a certain area. That's how.
Ah, right. So
Between
it
that
doesn't
and
have
the
a
other
hole,
one.
so it's not a hay. It's a het.
It's a
Exactly.
hat, right.
One of there's a game that I've been playing with my little kids, and so much easier to learn when you're a little bit younger, because it just sticks. But to get used to this ch sound, we've been playing the ha 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 game. Can you raise your hand if you ever played the ha 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 game when you were little? Oh, wow. Okay, so the ha 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 game. Originally, it's a lot more touchy-feely than would be advisable to do with a group of kids in 2022. But what you would do is you would lie around in a circle, and everybody would have their heads on a friend's stomach, and one person would say ha, and the next person would say ha ha, and the next person would say ha ha ha, and you would try to get up to as many ha's as you possibly could without everybody laughing. The person who laughs is out, or the person who says the wrong number of ha's. So we've been doing that with chets, right? So it'll go cha, cha cha, cha cha cha, or chi, chi chi, chi chi chi. It's a great way to practice, either by yourself or, let's say, with a partner who's also learning Hebrew, hint hint, or I've been saying this a lot to families as well. So there's a couple of families who have quite a few kids, and so I've told them to go home. Their homework is to go home and play that game with their entire family. So if you need help at all with that sound, it's a great game to play. But you don't all have to lie on the floor and put your heads on each other's stomachs. You can just do it, in the car or in a circle or at the dinner table. All right. With all of that, Curtis, what is this one?
It's the one that's like a sword.
Hmm.
I always get that confused.
I'm gonna zoom in.
Is it
Oh,
a
sorry.
Zion?
It is a Zion.
Yes.
It zips up. All right. I'll give you a hint, Eddie. This is a Sophite letter. It's at the end of a word.
Mem Sophie.
Nice. All right, Kayla, you keep getting the vowels. How about this one? So remember, you get to, and I'll give you a hint. You get to ignore these little side dots here.
Is it a?
It is not. It's actually the same one that you got earlier.
Okay. So E.
So you said E earlier,
Eh.
but it's eh. Right. This is a chataf segol. So it's a segol, and with most letters or with most vowels that are going to have this shva attached to it, you kind of just ignore the shva and just make an eh sound. So we're gonna star that one. All right. Dr. Strain, I bet you know this letter.
Yes. It's Alf.
It is Aleph. What sound does Aleph make?
Olive makes no sound.
No sound. Fantastic. All right, Curtis, what sound would this make?
Esapata.
Nice. All right, Eddie, what sound would this make?
A V. Would it make a V sound?
So that is the letter that you see,
Okay.
but
Av.
not quite. So when you have this vowel with the O, or with the dot, I just gave it away. You have the letter that looks like a Vav, but is not really a Vav, and it has the dot over it. You don't actually pronounce the Vav, you just pronounce it O. So this is called a cholam. It would be pronounced the exact same way if, let's say, you had the aleph and there was just a dot over the aleph, right? So same exact sound. Let me up the font so that it's not so tiny. There we go. So that, oops. Right, that has the same exact sound as if we were to go to do this. Right? The key is that the dot is over it. And similarly, we're going to get to this eventually in the flashcards, but anybody can answer this. What would this sound like?
Excuse me.
That's the long O.
The long O. I think the long O was the O sound that we had before.
It's still O. It's a
Is
O.
that a ooh?
Not
Is that a
Isn't that the word like in food?
Yeah, it's ooh. So it's that ooh sound, right? So, and same thing here where you don't actually pronounce the vav. So the one on top is O, that's a cholam, and the one on bottom is ooh, that's a shuruk. All right. Okay. All right. All right. And Kayla, what is this one?
There we go. There we go. It's on.
Tet.
Nice. Great job. So we're getting really good with our letters. All right. Dr. Strain, you are muted again.
Yes. It's one of the ones that starts with a K, but I think it's a cough.
Cough. There you go. Because it's got the kitty cat nose in the middle, I guess.
Well, actually, I was taught a cough up the dot.
That's what I was taught as well. But Kaya would like me to think otherwise. Kaya with a cuff. All right. Curtis, how about this one?
Vet.
Nice. Okay, Eddie.
Ayin.
Nice. All right, Kayla.
Remember, it's open.
Yeah, it's really familiar.
It's got a hole in it.
Um,
It's a. Something. What's up?
hey.
Hey, yep. This is a hey. We know that because it's got a hole and it makes a huh sound. All right. Okay, this is a Sophite letter. Dr. Strain, which Sophite letter is this?
Is that the Nun Sufi?
It is not a Nun Sophite.
Then it is a final say.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, it's a final.
And, all right. All right. Curtis, how about this one?
Shin.
Nice. All right, Eddie.
Is that pay?
It
With the point?
is.
Nice.
All right, Kayla.
What shape does it make? It's like a mountain.
Mem?
Mem.
Oh,
Yeah.
mem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Denim. Nice. And also know that not everybody works the best with flashcards. Right? Flashcards are one way to learn Hebrew. Another way is just to look at the text itself. But I always find it helpful to know the names of the letters. All right. This is Dr. Strain. This is the one final letter, the one Sophite letter that always needs a vowel in the middle, which is why I put in some dots. So what is this Sophite letter called?
That's the. That's an N Sufi. The Nun.
Nope, still not a nun Sophite. So a nun Sophite,
Yeah.
narrow, right? Like a narrow nun. This one is
Right.
not narrow.
Okay, but you said it needs a vowel in it all the time.
This particular Sophite letter does. It's the only one that can take a vowel, and it always takes a vowel.
Because there's Nun Sufi. There's the Nun Sufi.
It is the vowel that we have in B'chol levavcha, uv'chol nafshecha, uv'chol meodecha. It is a chaf Sophite.
The cough.
Chaf.
Okay.
Chaf Sophite. Here we go. All right, back to vowels. Curtis. It's not there is no
No, I was thinking. It is a long A.
Yeah, there you go. A, it's a tsere. All right, Eddie.
Would it be Faye?
It is a fey. All right, Kayla.
Um,
I actually forgot this one.
Cyan? Oh no.
Not a Zion. We already had a Zion. Right. Anyone else can shout it out.
Dalit.
Solid. Nice. Makes a duh sound. Oops, let me star that one. And then when we go back to these ones that we didn't get, I'm going to go over, especially with the vowels, some of the ways that we can remember. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Dr. Strain.
It's a nun.
It's a nun. You've been wanting to be a nun this entire time. All right, and we went over this a little bit earlier. Curtis, what sound does this make?
Ooh, I forgot.
It's not ooh. Very close.
Yeah,
Though.
E.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. I got it. The long O.
Oh, the long O, because the dot is over the letter.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna go over that. Hold All right, Eddie.
Samech.
Samech. All right, Kayla. This is the Sophite letter, the final letter that Dr. Strain has been longing for.
Nun.
Yeah, it's Nun Sophite. Fantastic. All right, Dr. Strain.
That is
Fantastic.
Tisa.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and here's another vowel sound. Wow, these are a lot of flashcards. Eddie, or not Eddie, Curtis.
E.
E, and we get to practice saying these things without
Yeah, I need to stop saying
challenge
that.
you.
Yeah, E.
All right, and Eddie, we went over this a little earlier. What is this one?
Would it be ooh?
It would be ooh. Great job.
Kayla was ready to tell me nope.
Huh?
Kayla was ready to tell me nope.
All right, Kayla, do you know this one?
R.
Yeah, it starts with an sound.
Ray.
Ray.
You have to finish it.
Oh, Rayan?
No.
I'm not sure.
So this is a resh, but you're totally right with the sound. And the nice thing is that when you're reading Hebrew, you're not going to have to actually remember the names of the letters. It's helpful, but if you can remember the sound, that's the most important part. All right. Dr. Strain, what does this sound like? Yeah.
It's the as in father.
Yeah. That's a kamatz. Great. Curtis, this is a trick question. Do you know what this vowel is called? Or what it might
Shiva.
sound like? Shiva. Right? This is the one that we haven't quite learned yet. We will hopefully get there next time we meet. All right. Oops. And by saying that, I just gave it away. Eddie, what sound does this make?
It would make an E.
It would not make an E.
Would it make an eh sound?
It would not, but that's close because "et" already has 3 dots. Does anybody else know what sound that would make?
Makes an O sound like in food.
Ooh sound. So this is a kubutz. And we know that because it looks a little bit like the smoke that might come out of a caboose. Even though I have no idea. I don't think the caboose actually pulls anything. But kind of like a train, I guess. All right. All right, Kayla, do you know this one?
Um, Sade.
Yeah, tsari, right? That pizza sound. And Dr. Strain, what is this Sofit letter?
So Saudi.
Also tsari. All right. Curtis, what is this sound?
Ah,
Ah. And Eddie, you've been wanting this for so long. What letter is this?
Vav.
Vav. Great. Kayla, what letter is this?
Belly button.
Bet.
Bet. Nice. And then Dr. Strain, you've got the last one.
That's a yud.
Yud. Nice. So instead of going through the flashcards again, we can go through the flashcards again, but would you all find it helpful to go through the vowels again, or do you want to keep going with what else we're doing today? Might be good to review some vowels. Okay, we'll go through it real quick. Let me make sure that I still have my slides on it. There we go. Got it. I'll try to do this in not so long because our content for today is once we've got the letters and the vowels down, the content actually isn't so difficult. But it's going to be hard to get that content without feeling confident about vowels. Just got to get the program to open up on my computer. There we go. Maybe. Question is, am I allowed to put a new computer on my baby registry? Probably not. All right.
Or a laptop.
All right, so Hebrew vowels. Remember that kamatz and patach, both of these two letters make that ah sound, right? Like father or doctor. That ah sound. Both patach and kamatz. So these both sound exactly the same with the one line or the little T. These letters here are tricky because they all look a little bit similar, but if you've got one dot, it's chirik, which makes an E sound. 2 is seire, which makes the A sound. And 3, but 3 in this little triangle shape, is segol, which makes the E sound. So as Rabbi Feivel likes to teach, you think about it as the number of marshmallows that you can fit in your mouth, right? So if you've got one marshmallow in your mouth, that doesn't make it very difficult to say the sound E. If you've got 2, it makes it more difficult, so you're kind of more cramped, eh. And then if you've got 3, it makes it really difficult, so all you can say is right? So E, A, and eh. Questions thus far? All right. So as we were saying before,
Isn't there another way that it says E also?
another way that it says what?
The E
No, well, so sort of. When
with
you've
little,
got
right, that one.
right, so when you've got the chirik and then you've got a yud after it, it still sounds exactly the same. Same thing with the seire. If you've got the seire, the 2 dots with the yud after it, still sounds like A. And that's just a function of when you say E for a really long time and then try to add a Y sound at the end, it doesn't make much of a difference, right? So try saying E and then adding a Y sound at the end.
Yuck.
Right? E. Right? Doesn't sound any different than if you were to just say E forever. Same thing with tsere, right? If you were to say a forever, that's why when we see it in English, even though English isn't really indicative of how things should actually sound, but in this case it kind of is, right? If you say a for a really long time and you add a y at the end, it doesn't really change the sound at all, right? Like hey. So the tsere and the chirik, when you've got a yud at the end, still sounds like the vowel that's underneath it. Was that what you were referring to, Dr. Strain?
Yes.
Great. All right. So now we get to the O's and the U's. The cholam, really easy way to remember which one makes the O sound. The cholam is over. It's the dot over the letter, right? Even if you've got this vav here, you actually pretend that the vav isn't there. Right? The vav here is not a vav, it's just a place marker for the vowel. So it just sounds like an O. These two sounds are both make that O sound. Similar here with the oo. Now, you're never, if you were to see, for example, an aleph with, let's say, a mem that has a dot in it afterwards, that is not indicative. This one is not indicative of an oo sound. Okay. The only way we're going to get an oo sound are two ways. One is if you've got that vav looking place marker with the dot in the middle, or the kubuts, which are the three diagonal dots underneath. So the shuruk and the kubuts. The way I was always taught is, if something hits me in the stomach, my response is going to be ooh, right? It's like a basketball hitting you in the stomach, which I hope never happens. And I always find it helpful to put these two together, right? So shuruk is, again, the ooh sound is in the middle. And then if it's over your head, if the basketball hits you in the stomach, it's ooh. If the basketball's over your head, it's an O sound. Okay. The shava is a pain in the butt, and we're going to learn about it more later. But before learning about it more later, just know that it can either be silent or it can make a small little sound. It's basically the end of a syllable is all you really need to know. So it can sound either like nothing or it can sound like but we'll get there. The other thing that we need to know about the shava is that it can appear next to other vowels. Okay. So if you've got the shava, these two diagonal dots, next to a segol, then it doesn't add anything because, again, shava's a silent vowel, where it really just marks, okay, the last syllable is over, we're starting a new syllable. Okay. So this would just sound like eh. Same thing here, right? The shava just marks the end of the previous syllable, so this just marks an ah. So chataf segol and chataf patach. Now, what would you think that, before you learned any of this, before you learned, or before you learned this before and looked at this slide, what would you think that this would sound like?
An ah.
You would think it would sound like an ah.
Right.
And if you pronounced it as an ah, 75% of people who are listening to you, unless you're in a room of rabbis or a room of Hebrew intellectuals, right? 75% of people wouldn't tell the difference. But technically, when you have those vertical dots next to the kamats. When you've got the shva and the kamats together, it actually makes an O sound. But that is very rare. And if it's too confusing for right now, you can forget about it.
Is that the only, time that this would, is this the only exception?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Unfortunately. So the variations, so there are variations on kamats, right? This is the only time when you've got a shva here and it changes the sound of the vowel that's after. So that's the only exception in that case.
Okay.
But there are some other times that because of open syllables and closed syllables and long vowels and short vowels, there are some places where the kamats is actually going to make a different sound. So, for example, and I think we did this in a different class, in certain sidurim, they're going to show you when there's a difference between the kamats that makes the ah sound and the kamats that makes the oo sound. Right? The one that makes the ah sound is kamatz gadol, and that's the one you're going to see 99% of the time. So what I want to tell you at this point in your Hebrew learning is that every time you say a kamatz, every time you see a kamatz, just say ah. It'll make it a lot easier. But if you feel like you've mastered vowels, right, you want to take that next step, and you're very eagle-eyed. See, I had to zoom into this picture to be able to see. You might notice that in some sidurim, there are two different shapes of kamatzes. So here, this word is going to be Yisrael, and this syllable here is a ra, right? Makes the ah sound. But here, the ones that are circled in that kind of mint green, that's more of this one makes the O sound, so this word would be kol. Another example of that, and every siddur is going to make the difference look different. Right here we've got ata, with the ah sound, and then here we've got shof, oops, right, with that O sound. And when we're zoomed in, you can see the difference pretty easily, but when you've got this siddur in front of your face and there's lots of letters and lots of vowels, it's less easy to pick out. So easiest thing to do, I think, is just to pronounce every kamatz as a kamatz. This is the Reform prayer book that they use it at B'nai Zion. This would be kulam. This would be bechoch ma. An O sound and an ah sound. But a lot easier if you just assume every kamatz is going to be an ah until you feel really comfortable with it. Does that all make sort of sense?
Sort of.
Sort of sense. Okay,
Sure.
sort of good. And then we've got diphthongs, but we can deal with diphthongs as they come along. The I and the oi. The questions about vowels before we take that next step. Right. I believe in all of you. All right. So we're going to work on single syllables today. Before we even get to words, we're just going to practice just simple single syllables, one at a time. So let's start with Curtis. From right to left, can you try reading all of these syllables?
Yes, I can. I can try.
Okay.
From right to left would be meh. The next one would be ma.
Mm-hmm.
The next one would be me.
Mm-hmm.
The one after that would be mo.
Right.
And the final one would be moo.
Beautiful. Now I want you to do that again without giving English commentary in between. You don't have to say the next one will be.
Okay. meh, ma, me, mo, and moo.
Ah, try those last two again. Because you said it right, but you said and.
Oh, I did. Mo, moo.
Fantastic. Great. Being very picky because I know that you know this. All right. Eddie, let's try this out.
Bow.
Yep.
Mm, boo. Ba. Bay.
Oh, this was one of the bonus ones that I skipped.
Ba.
Nice. So ba, and then what might happen if you put a y sound at the end of it?
Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Bye. Great. Okay. Right. Kayla, before we do this one, tell me first, what is the letter that you're seeing over and over again?
It's the first letter in the alphabet.
Aleph.
Aleph. Nice. What sound does an aleph make?
It's silent.
It's silent. And then what is this letter?
Oh.
So that'll be the first letter in.
Oh, Vav?
Mm.
No?
It's not a vav,
Oh,
it's shorter than a
vav.
vav.
Um,
It's the one that comes before kaf and alphabet.
Aleph, bet, fet, gimel, dalet, hey, vav, zayin, chet, tet. And then,
Dalet. Oh, no.
right. So this is going to be a yud. And the lovely thing about the yud being here is that it actually doesn't make any change to the vowel sound. So you can totally ignore these yuds, even though I made you try to remember what letter this was. Okay. You can totally
Good
ignore them. Great. So now, Kayla, try reading these vowels.
Are they silent?
So the letter is silent, which means that the only thing you need to say is the vowel sound.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think you wrote it. Mistake here.
I missed the first one.
Mm-hmm. So this is, remember, this was in the Marshmallow series.
That one is E,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Same thing.
E,
Mm-hmm.
I, E-I,
Hey.
Close.
A.
Yeah, A, and then?
F.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
for
Is
A.
it? Okay.
Yeah. Now you will come across some Israelis who will pronounce the Seirei a little bit differently, but for our purposes here, we're going to pronounce it A, like a bay. But great job. All right, Dr. Strain, let's try this out. First of all, Dr. Strain, what letter is this?
It looks like it's Ayon.
Close, but what letter? Oh, ayin is the letter.
Ayin, yeah.
What
And
sound does ayin make?
it makes no sound. Silent.
Fantastic. So can you try reading this from right to left?
O, O. Oo, oo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh, ooh, ah. All nonsense words, but that's okay. Now, we are going to try to spell out the English words below using Hebrew letters. I think we did this a few weeks ago, but it's always good to try again. So if you have a piece of paper, does everyone have a piece of paper in front of them? All right, fantastic. Or a board is great. Just for the sake of timing, I would like for each of you to choose, let's say each person chooses 2 of these words that you see here, 2 of these English words, and I want you to write them with Hebrew letters. I'll give you a couple minutes, and I'll just give you one example. Hopefully nobody wanted to do this, but the first example is going to be B, which you can write like this. You can also write like this. So I will be right back. All right. Raise your hand if you have the answers for one of these one or 2 of these words. All right. Curtis, which ones do you have?
I actually did the B. I was
Okay.
writing it while you were doing it, but I also
great.
did. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that?
Oh no, now I can't. You just disappeared completely.
I'm sorry. What about now?
Not quite, but which number
I'll
are you?
I'll spell it. I did go and I put Gimel and the dot over it. I forget what it's
All right.
called.
Great.
Holam.
Nice. And then you could
And
also do that.
yes.
Fantastic. Great job. All right. How about Eddie?
So I did. Forgot what I
Oh,
did. Go and she.
and then I like that you did go with an olive too. Nice. And so interesting. Show me that again with she.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So one thing that to keep in mind with she, you have the right letters, but but the vowel needs to be underneath the initial letter.
Gotcha.
So this would be she. You also could do it without the vowel here. You also could do it with an ayin. You could also do it with a yud. Lots of different options for she. Great. All right, Dr. Strain, what do you have?
I did she, and I did she, and I also did new.
New, let's see. Nice. Okay, so new is a good one too. New, you've got this or this. Fantastic. You could also add an extra little sound there. Right. Extra little letter. And Pam, is there one of these that you feel like you could do? You've got moo. Wonderful. Moo. Love it. And similar here. You could do it that way. You could do it without any letter after. You could add an ayin. Lots of different ways to do this. Fantastic. Any questions on this little exercise? Oh, I didn't ask Kayla.
I was struggling a little bit. This is what I have.
Let's see, raw. Oh, yeah, nice, perfect. Okay, so raw, you did like this, which is
Yes.
great. You could also do it like this. Do, you are almost there. So with do, you made those 3 dots, you made them look like they're next to each other. Very, very close. So those 3 dots, actually, you're going to want to be more diagonal.
Oh, okay. Great.
Great job. All right. And then we've got paw. Now, okay, so Pam, one issue with your paw there. So the way that you did paw is you did it as a chataf kamatz. Did you do an aleph? You did an aleph, I think. But that's not really what matters. With the chataf kamatz, we actually just learned a couple minutes ago that this is the one exception to a shva being next to a vowel, right? This actually changes the sound of the kamatz. This would sound like po. So you'd want to make it just a regular kamatz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so pa could also be pa.
Yeah.
Right. Fantastic. All right. Next thing we're going to do is, and I think that that Dr. Aber and Dr. Strain both did this last week, but we are going to read some single syllable Hebrew words and check to see if we know what any of them mean. So now I'll give you the first example because we haven't done this before. The way that we've done it so far is we've just done a letter and a vowel underneath. Right? We have not yet gotten to this point where we've done a letter, vowel, and then another letter. All we need to do in this circumstance is we pronounce the first letter, the vowel, and then the next letter. So this would be bat. Right? We just tag on that second letter. So Curtis, Curtis, would you like to try number 2?
Sure.
Okay.
I know the vowel.
Okay. What's the vowel sound?
It's a patah, so it's ah.
Nice. Do you know either of the letters?
Yes. Is that a het and a gimel?
Yeah, exactly. So now try.
I don't know if I can pronounce. Kag.
Yeah. So it's chag.
Okay. In my mind, I was trying to make that. I was trying to put all that together, and I just couldn't visualize it.
Yeah, well, and that's why I said before, this is the first time we're at least in this class, the first time that we're doing this. So chag. Anyone know what chag means? Like when we say chag sameach.
Would it be saying like good?
Not quite, no. So chag is a holiday. Holiday. So when we say chag sameach, it's happy holiday. We've got a lot of those coming.
It's not Chad, huh?
It is not chag.
Yeah.
Definitely not. And let's go back to number 1. What did bat mean?
Means
Daughter.
Nice. Daughter. All right. Eddie, let's try number 3.
Would it be tuv? Tuv?
You are almost there. What's that vowel in the middle?
Tov?
There we
Would
go.
it be an O?
Yeah, it's an O sound.
Over.
So now try it.
Over. Tov.
Tove.
Tove. Oh,
Tove.
over. Got it.
Right? And oops, I didn't mean to put the translation in there yet. Anybody know what this word means? Tove?
Means good.
Yeah.
Layla Tov would be good night, correct?
Lila Tove would be good night. Yes. All right. And Kayla, I still want to work on those letter names. So what letters do you see for number 4?
The Yod,
Nice. And then what's the second letter?
Dalet,
Nice. And do you know what the vowel sound is?
Yod.
Yeah, exactly. Yod. Oh, and what does yod mean? From anybody?
And
And nice. And it's also the little pointer thingy that you read the Torah with. All right. Dr. Strain, let's try number 5.
Is it Yom?
Yom. What does yom mean? We've got a yom coming up.
Oh, Yom Kippur? Yeah.
Yeah.
Praise?
Nope. Yom Kippur is the day of repentance, so yom is day.
Day?
So you'll notice on at the end of services on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, if anybody's still awake by that time, 4 or 5 hours into services, we're going to be singing. The way that you know that services are almost over is we're going to sing Hayom 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 Hayom, which means the day or today. So we've got this whole song about today is the day when this happens and that happens and this happens and today, today, today. Right? So when you hear that word over and over again, you know we're almost done with services if you're awake. All right. Pam, how about number 6?
low.
Which means?
I can't remember.
All right. Does anybody know what Cain means? All right, so low means no, and Cain means yes.
How do you spell that?
Huh? Cain?
Spell that.
So Cain is going to be this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. That should have been on the list too. But the place where you might see low is that if you're listening to the 10 Commandments, it's low this and low that, right? Don't worship other gods. Don't lie. Don't steal. Don't cheat. All that fun stuff. All right. Curtis, how about this? Number 7.
Oz?
Oz. Yeah. Nice. And Oz means, oops, so or then. It doesn't really have a great English translation. It's just fun to say. All right. Number 8, Eddie.
Bait.
Yeah. Anyone know what bait means?
Would it be holy?
It does not mean holy.
I mean, olive.
House?
Yes, house.
House,
So it's
yeah.
actually house of, right? So if you hear like a bait cafe, it's a house of coffee or a cafe. If you hear Beit Knesset, it's a house of gathering or a synagogue, right?
I was thinking that because I was thinking of Beit Hamikdash.
Yeah,
No.
exactly, right? The house of holiness.
Beit Yisrael.
Yeah, the
Hamikdash.
house of Israel. Exactly. A
Hamikdash.
singular house would be bayit, but that's more than one syllable, so that's not on this list yet. All right. So number 9, Kayla, let's try number 9.
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh, Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
Bob, and that's a race.
Great. And remember, the middle one's not a vav. The vav is just a placeholder. This is a vowel.
Okay. Is it sore?
Yeah. Sur.
Sore.
Sur. And anyone know what a sur is?
It's not book, is it?
It is not. It is a rock.
Oh.
So if you come to services in the morning, on Saturday morning, or if you watch services on Saturday morning, Tzur Yisrael, the Rock of Israel. God is the Rock of Israel. Or if you're celebrating Hanukkah, Ma'oz Tzur Yeshuati. Right? Look how powerful is the rock of my redemption. Right? Again, God. This is another word that doesn't really have another meaning in English, but let's try it out. Dr. Strain, number 10.
Eat.
Close. What's the vowel underneath the aleph?
It's one of the E's. It's the
It is one of the E's. It's not E, though.
no. It's the E. Eh.
Yep. And so put that together.
So it's et.
Nice. Great. And et doesn't really have a meaning in English. It's a direct object marker. So it's a way, when you see it in Hebrew, it means you just heard a verb, you're about to hear the object of that verb. All right. Pam, how about 11?
Ner,
Nair. And what does nair mean?
Ner Shel Shabbat.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the word though.
Lehadlik ner shel Chanukah, or Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. So lahadlik means to light. So what might a nair be?
Ah, the candle.
Candle, or the light. So it's a light or a candle.
Oh, or. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Light, literal translation for light is or, but that's more like the showing of light. But nair is like anything that gives off light, so candle or a flame.
Oh, okay.
Or the bearer of the light is the nair, so which is why it's easier to say candle. All right, Curtis, number 12.
Shell.
Shell, and shell just means of. So if I want to say that Buddy is my dog, or Buddy is Rabbi Sidney's dog, you would say, Buddy, shell Rabbi Sidney. Or Buddy, Hakelev shell Rabbi Sidney. All right, wonderful. Nice questions about all this. All right. How does our timing look? Are you able to stay on for a little longer? Yes, no, maybe so?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. I was thinking of doing this one at a time, or with one person, with each person working on their own individual verse, but I think I'd rather us just keep going in order here. So we're just going to do the first couple of verses of Genesis. So who's the last person? I think was, aha, you got that first verse. Nice. So Curtis, let's try that first word. Oh, okay, sounds good. Thank you, Kayla. All right, so let's try that first word, Curtis. What we're going to do now is we're putting multiple syllables together to make multi-syllable words.
Okay. Baruch.
close, but I want you to look at one syllable at a time. I want you to pretend that these are two different words, and then you'll try putting them together.
Okay. Ba,
Hmm.
ra,
Nice. Now put those together.
ba, ra.
Nice. So that is from the first verse of Genesis. It's word number 2 of the first verse of Genesis. All right. Now you get a tricky one, Eddie. Let's try number 2.
First one.
Hmm.
Low. E. A. He. That's
Yeah?
hard.
Yeah, you've got the he part. What's the last letter?
Mem. I was trying to pronounce yod for some reason.
Hmm.
I was trying to pronounce yod, so it would be Elohim.
Yeah.
Sweet.
In Hebrew, most of the time we're going to have our accent on the last syllable. So, can you try saying Elohim?
Elohim.
Nice. So most of the time our that's going to be where our accent is. All right. So Dr. Strain, you get an easy one. Try number 3.
It's a T and a A, and so it's at.
Okay, what's that first vowel again?
It's an A,
There we go. So now put those together.
and then the last word is a T, so it's at.
So you said the vowel sound was A.
8,
There we go. 8.
8.
Nice. All right. All right. And Pam, let's try number 4. I don't know why this vowel was here. Pretend it's not.
That's probably
Oh my gosh, there's so many typos on this word.
it's probably because it's an accent.
There we
Oh,
go. You're
anyway,
right.
the word is Hashemayim.
There we go. Hashamayim. And I made a mistake there. It's not. It looked like a sin on my slide, but it should be a shin. Hashamayim, the heavens. And then Curtis, try number 5.
Ha, a, rich.
Nice. Haaretz, the land.
The land, the earth.
Nice. We're gonna try verse 2, I think, and then next time we can start with these last few verses as warm up, and then we're gonna learn about the Shiva, which makes everything trickier but more fun. So let's just do this let's do this second verse here. And we've got one repeat here. All right. Eddie, let's try number 1. Oh, these are your arch nemeses. These vowels here.
Oof. Toe. Who? Tohu.
Yeah, exactly. Not such arch nemesis anymore. Great.
I wouldn't say that.
means chaos or messiness. All right. And Dr. Strain, number 2. Come here, dog. Come on, buddy.
So we have Ba, no, who,
Mm-hmm. Say that again.
Vasha who,
Oh, wait. What was that second letter?
who. Oh no, that's that. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's Va, that who. I mean,
Okay.
ho, Va, that, Va, vo, ho, or hit. It's the H with the double
So you've
O.
got va and vo.
Vo, ho.
Just focus on this one.
Babaho.
Hold on, focus on just the
Bavahu.
syllable I'm circling. Yeah. Okay.
Bavahu.
Vavohu.
Bavahu.
Okay. So tohu vavohu literally means chaos and more chaos. Chaos and disorder. Whatever sort of synonym for disorder or chaos you can think of. That's how the world started. All right. And Pam, how about number 3?
Al. You're muted.
Sorry, I was talking to my dog.
Oh,
He was like staring at me and whining. But yes, all is right. Okay, and Curtis, how about number 4?
Elohim.
Nice. And then Eddie for our last one.
Ha. Ma. Am I right with the ma?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ha ma. Yim.
Awesome. The water. Fantastic. And I love that you asked about the ma, because this is not something that we talked about before, but sometimes we have letters that have random dots in them, and they're not the letters that change when they have dots in them. This is how we know, or this is when we know, or when, I should say, when this happens, because we know it doesn't change, you can just ignore the dot. The reason why the dot is here for the grammar enthusiasts among us is that when you have a ha at the beginning of the word, it means the. And so usually what will happen is that you have some vowel change after that, or some letter change after that, to indicate it's the something concrete. And so here, instead of doing a different kind of vowel change, you just put a dot in the middle. Or in the words where you can't put a dot in the middle, they'll do some sort of vowel change. Let me see if there's another example there. So another example that we can see here with the yud. Right, that even though that is a yud and we don't really know what that dot means in the middle of the yud, still just sounds like a yud. Let's see. See if there's anything else weird here to go over today. Right, there's another Vayomer with the yud. There's another Hamayim with that mem with the dot in the middle. All right. So I think we've gotten a lot done today. Any questions about anything that we've learned today? Okay. Next week, we are going to get into multisyllable words. We started multisyllable words today, right? And in fact, sorry, I keep sounding like we're almost done. We are almost done, but I just want to point out that today we did start with multisyllable words. And, I guess I closed that screen that I wanted to show. But we started multisyllable words because we worked on words that have words that work consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel. We worked on syllables today that, like ba or ma, right, that are just consonant and vowel. We also worked on syllables that were consonant, vowel, consonant, like yim, or like yim and hashamayim, or him and Elohim, right? And so we know that in these cases, in the cases that we worked on, the only cases in which we had consonant, vowel, and then another consonant at the end was when it was at the end of the word, or if it was a single syllable word, right? Next time we're going to figure out how do we use this shva, as another syllable end, right? So we're going to see that next week. Stay tuned. And just know that when you're reading prayers, you see a Shiva, and between now and next week, you see a Shiva, you're not sure what to do with it, just say, okay, this is the end of a word when I see a Shiva, and try that and see what happens. So great things to practice are really anything in your prayer book, but also I've got these slides online, so you can practice those verses that we didn't get to. All right? All right. Have a great week. Thank you for learning with me. And next week, we're actually meeting next week so that we don't have to meet over the holidays.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
See you soon.
Over Shabbat.